Hello, my beautiful listener. You are welcome to Living Word Channel 1. Join me as I challenge myself to pray without ceasing every day for a week and see what happens. Praying without ceasing. It's a concept that's often tossed around in spiritual circles, but what does it really mean? To me, it means making prayer a constant, ongoing conversation with God, rather than just a quick chat before bedtime or when we're in a crisis. It means recognizing that God is always present, always listening, and always willing to guide us. The Lord is near to all who call on Him, in truth. Psalm 145 verse 18. I think we can all agree that maintaining a consistent prayer life is tough. Life gets in the way, and before we know it, days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months without us even realizing it. We get busy, we get distracted, and prayer becomes an afterthought. And if we're being honest, sometimes we just don't feel like praying. We're tired, we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, and prayer feels like just one more thing on our to-do list. Adding to the struggle is the fact that we live in a world that's constantly screaming for our attention. Our phones are always buzzing, social media is always notifying us, and the news is always breaking. It's hard to quiet our minds and focus on prayer when there's so much noise around us. And let's not forget our own thoughts and worries that can be a major distraction from prayer. We can get caught up in our own problems and forget to look to God for guidance. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4 verse 6. On top of all this, prayer can sometimes feel like a one-way conversation. We talk to God, but we don't always hear back, at least not in the way we want to. This can be discouraging, and it's easy to give up. But the truth is, prayer is not just about getting answers. It's about building a relationship with God. Call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Jeremiah 33 verse 3. In the midst of all these challenges, it's easy to lose sight of why prayer is so important. But the benefits of continuous prayer are undeniable. When we pray without ceasing, we build emotional resilience. We're able to handle life's ups and downs with more grace and peace. We develop a deeper connection with our spirituality, and we start to see the world in a different light. And our mental health improves as we learn to cast our cares on God and trust in His goodness. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. When we pray without ceasing, we also start to see things from God's perspective. We begin to trust that He's working everything out for our good, even when we can't see it. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. We start to understand that our struggles are not unique to us, but are a part of the human experience. And we start to see that God is always with us, always guiding us, and always loving us. One of the most powerful experiences I've had with continuous prayer was when I was going through a really tough time in my life. I was feeling lost, alone, and scared, and I didn't know what to do. But I knew that God was there, and I knew that He was listening. So I started praying, and I didn't stop. I prayed throughout the day, throughout the night, and throughout the weeks that followed. And slowly but surely, I started to feel a shift. I started to feel peace. I started to feel hope. And I started to feel God's presence in a way I never had before. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. Psalm 23 verses 1 to 3. It wasn't easy, and there were still moments of doubt and fear. But I knew that I wasn't alone. And I knew that God was with me every step of the way. And in the end, that's what made all the difference. Prayer without ceasing gave me the strength to keep going, even when everything seemed impossible. In the past week, I've made it a point to pray without ceasing every day. And I've seen the difference it's made in my life. I've seen the peace, the hope, and the joy that comes from knowing God is always with me. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Make prayer a daily habit and see what happens. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. Romans 12 verse 12. Thanks for watching. and I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried praying without ceasing? What were your experiences like? Share your stories in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more videos on spiritual growth and development. I will see you in my next video. You are blessed.